Hi, my name is Jodie and I'm from the customer success team at Grip. Together with Propak East Africa, we've created your online event platform. Today, what I'll be doing is showing you how to log into your profile, how to create and fulfill all of your profile details, how to navigate the platform and get some of the key aspects of what can be provided for you, and also how to activate and look into your team section for an exhibitor representative. So soon you'll be receiving your welcome emails. What will happen at this point is you'll receive an email with your login credentials. This will include an email address that you've registered with, as well as a one-time use badge ID. There'll also be a link to take you through to this welcome page here. You'll see that you have the option to log in. If you haven't registered, there's a link to register on that page as well. But what you can do is type in the email address you used to register with, your badge or registration ID that will be included in that email. And then you'll just need to set yourself up a password. This will be used every time you log into the platform going forward, so make sure it's something memorable. And don't worry if you didn't receive your welcome email or can't see your badge ID anywhere, you can click on this button in the bottom right-hand corner and you'll be able to contact our support page. Once you've created your account, you'll be taken through to the initial onboarding steps. So first of all, you'll want to complete your profile. You can click on there to add a website. You can add on some additional information, so the target industries. You can add on the product sector provided by yourself. You can add on the product categories that are provided by you. You can make sure that these information is up to date and as relevant to you as possible. What's important about this step is, first of all, it completes your profile. So these details will be shown in your profile as a user, but it'll also be used by our matchmaking engine, which is AI powered. So that means our system will generate matches based on this information in here. So if you want to be matched with the most relevant people possible, make sure you do complete these details as much as you can. Of course, at any point, you are able to go back to this step. You'll be able to access that via your profile, which I'll show you in just a moment. But here is a really quick and easy way to do it. Once you're happy with these details, you can click Next, and it will take you through to contact details. So this is the time for you to decide whether or not you want your contact details to be visible, private, or set to connections only on the platform. Initially, your contact details will always be set as private, don't worry. However, you can decide if you want them to be set to connections only. This means once you've formed a connection with another user, only they will be able to see your contact details. Or public, every user on the platform, if they view your profile, they will be able to see your contact details. So here's your way to decide how you want this set. And again, at any point throughout the event, you can go in here and update and change these options as you wish. You'll also notice that your phone number may be empty at this point. Don't worry, you will be able to update this on your profile afterwards. The next step is consenting to intelligent matchmaking. So this means the information you've provided so far, so those onboarding questions, we'll use that to generate your recommendations. You can read further on here, read through the details provided and click on the terms and conditions if you want to. I won't do that now for you, as it will take quite a while for me to go through all the details. However, I'll click on here so that I can start networking. First of all, you can see we land on this home page. So this will be your shortcut to any of the key areas on the platform. Once you've logged in and start taking actions, it will look a lot more full and you'll be able to see more information. The first area we have is the event agenda, and this will always show the next 3 sessions that are upcoming on the event agenda itself. So hopefully you won't miss any that you're wanting to see. You'll see a list of all the exhibitors, your recommendations, so this will be the top 3 recommendations, and your pending meeting requests to make sure that you don't ever miss any meeting requests that come your way. But before going into this in too much detail, I want to show you how you can update your profile. So you can see your profile just here in the top right-hand corner. So first of all, here's how you can update your key areas. So your first name, last name, those might need changing, so feel free to update those here. And you'll also want to make sure you have a headline. So think of LinkedIn, think of Facebook where you have a bio. You'll want to make sure that this headline is representative of you as a user, as this at a first glance is what other users will see of you. There's no rules on what you want this headline to be. You can change it to be a snappy tagline, or you can change it to be your job title or company, whatever suits you best as a user. You can also update your profile image here. So you click on it and you'll be able to upload an image from your device. Here is also where you can update your contact details. So on here, you can again change this, and here is where you're able to add a phone number. You'll just need to make sure you press update profile at the bottom here. And again, as well as those details that you first initially added in, you're able to update and change these, but you can also add some additional areas such as job title, company, location, and so on. Just make sure you hit update profile to save any changes that you make. There's a couple of other details on this profile that you want to bear in mind. First of all, manage your availability. So we know that you might not be available for meeting requests or at any time throughout the event. So now is your time to go in and update the times where you think you're not going to be available or want to receive meeting requests for. If you know you're not going to be available for an entire day, just mark yourself as busy. No users will be able to send you meeting requests at this point. And again, press save to update this. You're then able to change your email, password, manage your notifications, and read a little bit more about the platform itself. The last area you have on the profile is export meetings. So here is a space where you're able to export any of the meetings that you've scheduled throughout the event, just to keep track of them. Note, this won't include any contact details on here of other users due to GDPR. However, if you are connected with someone and they have their contact sharing details on, you will be able to see those for other users. Next, we'll go through to the home page. You can do so by clicking home here or in the top right corner. So again, as we mentioned, you've got some shortcuts, but the great thing is you also have them on the navigation bar just on the left-hand side here. I'll first dive into the networking. So as I've mentioned, we are powered by AI, which means that the metadata and all of the information that is provided on your profile, such as products provided, areas of interest, all of these details will be provided and generating recommendations for you. And this means that hopefully it will be the users that you're most likely and want to meet with that will show up in your recommended for you. When you first log in, you'll see around 10 users at a time. However, the more interest and more actions that you take on this list, the more recommendations will then be provided for you. You can see we've got 3 calls to action here: show interest, request a meeting, and skip. The first one is show interest. Showing interest in someone, that is a soft hello. You're looking like you might want to connect with them. Their profile's interesting to you. However, you're not requesting a meeting just yet. It's essentially letting that user know you do want to connect with them. If you show interest in a user, what will happen is they will go into your interest list. And this is a good area to keep note of your bank of users that you might want to go back and request a meeting with at a later stage. A user can then request show interest in you back. If they show interest in you back, they will form a connection and you will be able to chat with that user at that point going forward. So you don't necessarily have to request a meeting with them if you want to get in touch with them further. As long as you have a connection, you will then be able to use the chat functionality, and that will be shown in your connections here and in your connection bar on the right-hand side. The next call to action we have is request a meeting. If I want to request a meeting with someone, the great thing is here, first of all, is that they are full virtual meetings that can be held on the platform itself. You don't need to make sure you've both downloaded additional technology or software or anything. It will be held on the platform ready for you to use at any time. So you'll be able to choose the date, time, the location. Don't worry, it will already be pre-filled to your virtual meeting room. You'll be able to add a note in there if you want to add a message to let the other user know why you're requesting a meeting. And then you'll be able to send that. An important thing to note is, first of all, you can add more users to this meeting. You can add up to 10 users at a time if you want to have a multi-user meeting. And the second thing to note is that you're pending meeting requests. So this might look a little bit strange to you at first, but all it means is that when you're sending meeting requests out, do really think about who you're wanting to meet with rather than sending meeting requests to all users on the system. As soon as another user requests a meeting, accepts or declines a meeting with you, you'll gain that request back. So if I send this meeting request now, you'll see when I go back to request a new meeting, that I now have 19. So as soon as Angela accepts or declines that meeting, this will go back up to 20. If I get to the point where I don't have any meeting requests back, I may want to go to my schedule and cancel that meeting if that user hasn't responded for a while. Some important notes once you've requested a meeting. You'll be able to see the response. This user will receive an email when I send a meeting request to them, and I will get an update for their response if they accept or decline it. 5 minutes before the virtual meeting begins, this button will be highlighted and I'll be able to click on it, and this meeting room will then open for me to have a one-to-one or multi-user meeting with them. It'll be very similar to Zoom or Google Hangouts or Teams, where I can mute my microphone, I can turn on and off my camera, and I can share my screen. Again, you don't need to download any additional software for this. It will all be within the platform itself. However, if you do experience any technical difficulties whilst in the meeting room, the top tip is to open it in a new window, which will prompt you to do if you're experiencing those issues. And you then hopefully should be able to hold your meeting with full success. The last important note is you'll always be able to see the status of the meeting here. If a meeting's confirmed, this will turn green and say confirmed. If the meeting date has passed and no one has responded to it, it will say expired. And if a user declines a meeting, it will sit here and say declined, and you will receive a notification to say so. The last call to action that we have is skip. So a skip means essentially you don't want to meet that user. They're not very interesting for you to see. You don't want to connect to someone. Don't worry, it's completely anonymous. No one will know that you skipped them. And all that will happen is they will go into your skip list here. At any point, I can unskip a user if I want to. However, they will sit here. They won't know that I've done this, but it will essentially hide them from my recommendations. We don't want you to shy away from anyone you want to skip, as our AI does learn from your actions. So if you skip certain users that you're not interested in, that will help our system generate further recommendations that you're more likely to want to see. The last area on this network we have is interested in you. So if someone shows interest in you, you'll receive a little notification just here, and the profile will be shown. You'll also be able to chat with this user straight away, and as soon as you do chat with them, it will form a connection. The next area on the platform we have is the event agenda. So all sessions within the event will be shown here, and you'll see it will start in chronological order, and it will always be shown in your local time zone. You'll be able to filter by the date, the track, and the location. To add a session to your schedule, you can see the button highlights here. When I do this, it will go into my personal online event schedule, but I'm also able to send this to my personal calendar if I want to as well. When you click on this, there'll be a bit more information about what is happening at this session. So you should be able to see any speakers attached. You might be able to see a description. And again, almost all of these sessions will be available to view embedded within the platform. So once again, you don't need to download any additional software. You'll be able to view the sessions just here. You will be able to keep track of this within your schedule. Again, everything is shown in chronological order. And when a session is 10 minutes away, you will receive a notification to remind you that this session is happening. The last area we have on this navigation field here is the participants, so a list of all the users on the platform, a list of all the exhibitors, and the Propak website, which will open in a new window when you click on it. As a user on its own, this is the entire platform. However, as an exhibitor representative, you will also have access to teams. So you'll be able to log in. The first person who logs in from a company will need to create that team. And that will be done during the onboarding steps. And all you'll need to do is give your team a name, and that will generally be your exhibiting company's name. If you're the second user to log in, you'll go to Teams and you'll request to join.